I have a Jax and a Mattel figure of Warrior. Neither one are from WCW. I do have one of, when the real Warrior died and a fake one came back.
Yes, I have that one too.
Yeah. Look it up, people. It was a rumor, believe it or not. Scott Hall will probably be back in about a month since he's back in rehab. Is that really news in 1990?
Spoiler, he will return at that Georgia Dome show.
Yeah, to, quote, take Goldberg to school. And oddly enough, that was the worst of Goldberg's 2 matches that night. Horace Boulder, a.k.a. Hollywood Hogan's real-life nephew, Horace Hogan, recently signed with WCW. For some reason, I was thinking he was there before this. Apparently not. Speaking
Might have
of
been a jobber.
I don't know.
Like one Saturday night or something.
I like how he was using Hulk Hogan's previous name, by the way, where he was Terry Boulder. So now he's Horace Boulder. Like, that's the family namesake.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this is also the time when on Nitro, Mortis cut a promo saying that his new name is Canyon. And who better than Canyon?
Nobody except for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I guess. The real Alliance.
Real tagline.
By the way.
Yep.
Good Lord. By the way, speaking of Canyon, just a quick thing. Since it is, June and everything, and thinking about his memory, unfortunately, he left us way too soon. But Shane Helms shared a screenshot of a conversation. I guess it wasn't a screenshot. He kind of transcribed the conversation between him and Canyon. And Canyon texted him and said, "Hey, I got to tell you something." He said, "Yeah, sure. What is it?" And he said, "I'm gay. Does that bother you?" And Shane replied, "I'm not. Does that bother you?"
Wow.
And Canyon replied, "Pop, that's the greatest response I've gotten so far. Thanks, buddy." A couple more news and notes here, just heading to the WWE side, or WWF rather. WWF's Raw at Madison Square Garden was sold out with nearly 20,000 people and a gate of nearly $400,000, which is the largest gate WWF has ever had in the U.S. for a non-pay-per-view show. Not shocked. It's at the GAD. And here you go. Dan Severn is no longer wearing the NWA belt. Championship, pal.
Championship, pal.
He's no longer wearing it on TV, and they've stopped talking about his UFC credentials and instead only mention his college wrestling days. I was a kid at the time, but did you notice that, or is this the first?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember him coming out with it. Maybe he did, and I just didn't realize it was a championship he was holding or something. But I don't remember it.
Yeah, he occasionally came out with the 10 pounds of gold, but as a kid, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, "What's that belt he's got?" As an adult,
I want to say I remember him carrying the UFC title.
And that was another thing. UFC in 1998 was not UFC 10 years later. It was kind of freak shows at the time, wasn't it? And I'm not saying that about the people.
I think they had already had divisions by 98. I think.
Okay.
99 for sure. But I think they had moved into divisions. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
But for anyone who doesn't know, the freak shows were like the matches where they had 150-pound guys like Horace Gracie against 400-pound sumo wrestlers.
Yeah.
That's why it was called a freak show.
Yeah, it's not disparaging about the people in it, so don't give me hate. Dr. Death Steve Williams worked his final show in All Japan Pro Wrestling and won the match. He, along with William Regal, or then Steven Regal, and Edge are expected to debut soon from the WWF. One of these men will go on to greatness. One of these men is still on television, and one of these men got a career-ending injury, went to WCW, went back to Japan, unfortunately got cancer, and passed away too soon. Guess who is who? And then finally, Matt and Jeff Hardy have been signed to WWF contracts. They have been working as unsigned jobbers for quite a while. So This is the beginning of the Edge and Hardy era, man.
That's freaking crazy. Like, you're hearing a story. The Hardys, the young Hardys have been signed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about 2 Hall of Famers now. We're and Edge too, for that matter.
Yeah, and all 3 of these guys are still wrestling, by the way. It's nuts to think about. But that does it for the news and notes. Are you ready to dive into King of the Ring itself?
I think.
Okay.
No, wait, this is a good event. I'm ready. Sorry.
Okay.
That's been my response. It's horrible.
For the most part, yes, it was a good event. I don't have...
I didn't say great. I said good. I don't just throw the word great around there like candy most of the time.
This was one of the more memorable of this time period. I will say that.
I might go you one better and say this is probably the most memorable for one reason, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. Well, I bring this event up to my wrestling friends, and obviously they go to, the cell. But there's other stuff that I was surprised. My wrestling fan friends, like one in particular, my friend Kyle, who's not... He's kind of like, he consumes it, and then he kind of forgets it, and then he moves on to the next week. But this one, he specifically remembered the main event. And I did too, for a reason I'll get into as we go on. But King of the Ring 1998 took place June 28th, 1998, from the Pittsburgh Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Igloo, where it's going to sound weird with me saying it because I'm a Cleveland fan, but my Pittsburgh Penguins play there. I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan because for all
you like Ohio State, but you don't like the professional hockey team that plays in the same city as Ohio State.
Oh no, I do. But I support. I am a fan of the Blue Jackets. However, growing up in northeastern Ohio, there were 2 teams that you could root for: the Detroit Red Wings and the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I went to the Penguins. My dad went to the Red Wings. So.
At the time, I was like, okay, for that time period, I'm okay with that. Because, the Red Wings, screw them. But now the Red Wings suck, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are, like, dominant, so screw you. Anyways.
Well, yeah. So I picked well, I think.
Well, it just shows that you didn't jump on the bandwagon at the time, too, so I can kind of respect that. Because the Red Wings were, like, the team, so.
Yeah. Well, that was always when we played NHL games. He picked the Red Wings. Usually I would pick the Colorado Avalanche because they were like the second best team on most NHL games. So, I wanted to be able to compete. So, but I still liked the Penguins. But the attendance was 17,087. Not quite a sellout, but close. The paper.
I don't think anyone's complaining about 17,000 tickets sold, though.
Oh, hell no. Well, and the pay-per-view buy rate was a 1.1. That means that 310,000 people ordered this pay-per-view. Not bad. 310,000, that's not bad. King of the Ring was one of the big 5 at the time. But I don't know. I think that was a pretty respectable buy rate at that time. I don't know.
Well, it would be a lot better now because of, like, the age of people streaming stuff. But back then, it was probably amazing. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. But just looking at numbers now, like real quick, AEW recently did 100,000, which they called, like, amazing. And it was like, back then, that'd be crap. So I just, that was
like 2,000 WCW numbers. Well, like Eric Bischoff had brought up the difference. He said the numbers we were pulling in 2000, we were like, my gosh, we're dying. Today, people would kill for those numbers.
Yeah,
he's not crazy. Wrong. Yep. Yeah, it's so weird with all the streaming services. Personally, I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown on television in years. I'm not even joking. Years. The last time I tuned into anything...
That's my point, though, too. It's like right there. It's like people are consuming it. It's just not being shown. Like, AEW's pulling in, like, 975,000 on average. Guarantee you at least 2 or 3 million people are seeing it. It's just not being reflected, you know. I mean, and I know advertisers aren't going to look at it like that, but that's what it is.
Right. The stipulation of the main event, let's get into that, because it's going to start an ongoing joke that you and I like to bring up, or a callback, whatever, that you and I use in our real life sometimes. The stipulation of the main event is that if Kane does not win the WWF title against Stone Cold Steve Austin in a first blood match, he will set himself on fire.
Because that makes sense.
And Bruce, this is the ongoing joke, because Bruce Pritchard said that when talking to Vince Russo about the idea, he's like, well, what is he going to do? He's like, bro, he's going to set himself on fire, then he's gone forever, bro. Then he said, well, he's covered from head to toe. How is he going to make him bleed? Bro, he could slit his throat, bro. These are real
statements. Real statements.
A grown man, not a child or a prepubescent teen or something like that. No, this is a grown man saying this stuff.
Man.
There's a lot of Russo bashing on the show, so send all your hate to us at @mainevent_marks on Twitter and Instagram. But anyway,
I also need to point out, I don't really hate Russo. I hate his writing. I don't judge him as a person. I'm talking specifically about Vince Russo in wrestling.
Look, as a person, I think he's a complete idiot. I've heard he's charming, which is, fine. But, a lot of people can be charming. Doesn't mean they're great people. I don't know. I've heard things he has said in and out of wrestling. To me, he strikes me as a complete blithering moron. But full disclosure, I've never met the man. So, whatever. Well, because of this stipulation, there are gas cans all around ringside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a thing that'll come into play later. Not to jump ahead. The first match on the card, because if you want to start off hot, man, it's the Headbangers of Mosh and Thrasher with Taka Michinoku taking on Kai and Tai, which is Funaki, Men's Teao, and I almost called him Dick Togo. Dick
Freudian
Togo.
slip. The first Freudian slip of our new podcast.
Oh, man. Funaki, Men's Teao, and Dick Togo with Yamaguchi-san in their corner. This match only lasted for 6 minutes 44 seconds. Thank God.
6 minutes too long. But...
Okay, I don't know if you remember at the time. Maybe you can explain to me. First of all, Taka comes out dressed as one of the Headbangers, and then he takes it off, and he's got his regular outfit on. But Kai and Tai is dressed like rejected 90s rap, like a rejected 90s rap group. Do you know
That's just how they looked. That's just how they looked. I don't know why.
I remember Yamaguchi-san always wearing a suit, though, because I remember...
Oh, no, I mean, like they were feuding with the Headbangers, and that was the anti-punk rock thrash stuff they were doing. So
Kai and Tai?
I guess the oddities weren't ready yet. I don't know.
Well, Greg, I fondly remember that, beloved 90s rap group consisting of only Japanese men.
That was the introduction to K-pop, which is huge now.
Oh my gosh. No, it's J-pop, Greg, because they're from Japan.
I stand corrected. My apologies.
You apologize to all those weirdos on Twitter. But yeah, this just... And what happened with Taka? Because I know he was part of Kai and Tai, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is. So, he turned on Val Venus. When Val Venus slept with that girl, it was Yamaguchi-san's wife, and he said it was his sister.
Yeah. Well,
even looking back, I'm like, I don't even know why that was a heel turn. I didn't see Taka getting less popular. I don't understand it, but.
Well, did Taka? So at this point, Taka had never been a point of Kai and Tai, or a part of Kai and Tai.
I think he joined him maybe a month before. Because I know he was like a face at WrestleMania 14. So
yeah,
I don't remember the month, but
So he's against them here. I know that. Yeah, I
always
don't know.
Against them here. That's right.
Kai and Tai was freaking weird.
He's about
That's all
to.
I can say.
Sorry.
Men, I think I think it was men's Teo.